Hello everyone, welcome to another video, and today what we're going to be doing is going over 10 healthy habits for athletes in boxing. So these are all things that I've learned and picked up throughout my training and my build up to fights, just like throughout my whole life that I found things that work for me. So I can't guarantee they'll work for you, but these are things that I wouldn't carry on my day-to-day training without. They just work for me. I find they help my performance, my mental health, so let's jump straight into it. At number one, we have meditation. So meditation is something that I find is really hit or miss for a lot of people. Some people find it works really well for them and others just can't get in the zone at all. And for me, I only started about 4 years ago and I don't do it every day. It's something that I really try and keep like a week total for. So I'll say like this week I'll try and meditate for say half an hour in total, and I may do 5 minutes one day and I might do maybe 20 minutes the next day. It doesn't really matter too much, as long as I get a little bit in. I find it really helps just having that time to yourself and just relaxing, going through things and just like really zoning out from everything. I do find it really helps me just kind of like relax, and for me that's like a big thing because I feel like most of us nowadays suffer with anxiety and things like that, so just having that few minutes to yourself where you can just completely zone out of everything and forget, it's just like so important. And like I said, you can do it for like 5 minutes. 5 minutes, you'll feel the benefits, and if you do that, say, every other day or so, 100%, I really feel like you will feel the benefits. The way I do it is a really simple method, so it's breathing in and out through your nose, and what you want to do is when you breathe in, imagine that you're drawing in the light from around you, and then when you breathe out, imagine it's like a coal train. So when you breathe out, like the black smoke comes out, so it's like you're breathing in like positive good things and then you're breathing out like bad things, and it's like a mental kind of aspect to it. But all you do is just focus on the feeling of your breath on your top lip. Your mind's going to wander, I think it happens to everybody, but you just bring yourself back in, reset and go again. At number two is reading. So for me, reading is such a great way to consume like a mass amount of knowledge. It's just such a great way to consume information. What I like to do usually is read books that are only actually going to benefit me. So I won't go reading things like Harry Potter and things like that. I'll read different training books, self-help books, books about like building habits, basically anything to like can actually like improve my performance or my well-being. I really avoid anything that I believe fiction is fiction. In fact, I can't really remember, to be honest with you. But yeah, so anything that can help me out. So a lot of like biographies from boxers. Ant Middleton does some great books actually, which have a lot of like mental sort of information in there as well, and like motivation. So anything that can motivate me, improve my health and well-being, cookbooks, things like that. So anything that can really help me improve, I think is an absolute must read. So I always try and keep like one book on the go. I've been pretty poor this year at reading, I won't lie. So 100% reading, I think is a great way to build information, and it's also good. Reading is also a great way to wind down before bed or things like that. So if you're struggling getting some sleep, maybe switch off your phone for a few nights and read a couple chapters. Also in the morning I like to read as well. It's kind of a good way of like building into your day, I find, a few pages and stuff like that. Number three is to track your sleep. So you can either do this through like a app on, if you have like an Apple Watch or anything like that, or you can actually write it down, your bedtimes and things like that. Usually I'm using the Whoop tracker, but I've lost my charger in like the last 2 days, so I've literally just taken it off because it's dead, so there's no point wearing it. But anything like that, any trackers or anything that can track your sleep, I think is a major benefit, because once you start understanding your sleep patterns, so like have a consistent bedtime, a consistent wake up time, things like that can improve your sleep, and it's honestly like one of the biggest ways of seeing how your day affects you. So everything that you do during the day kind of like has a knock-on effect to your sleep. So how much you're drinking, if you're stretching, whether you worked out or not, all of these things can impact your sleep in different ways. So being able to see these things throughout the day, and like as the months build up, you can see when you had good sleep, poor sleep, and so on. Number four is following a routine. So this is massive for me. I'm really like a very routine happy person. I like having certain times to get up, eating certain foods every day. Like I really enjoy it, having certain training times. So if you're someone who struggles to build a routine, what I would recommend is just start off by writing down a few things in your daily routine that you do every day without fail. So if you sleep at the same time every day, write it down. If you eat at the same time every day, write it down. And then just leave it at that for now. Then as the weeks go by, as you catch yourself doing certain activities continuously, like day by day, and it's always around the same time. Fill it into a routine, so then you have a slot for it, so that I find a lot of people, when they try and build a routine, they build it all, they fill it all out in one day, then they're like, oh, I forgot to put this in, I forgot to put in that I have to do my washing, or I forgot to put lunch down in the routine, then they have to move everything around again. So I always recommend start with a couple of things and then build on that routine. It's just so much more simple, I find, and that way, like, you don't have to sit down for like a couple hours and write it all in and think, oh, am I forgetting this, am I forgetting that? You can just have it there in the back of your mind, leave it on your desk, so as you do things, you can just think, oh, I keep doing my washing every day at, say, 7 o'clock, I'll go write it down. Or say you weren't sure on your meal times, but for the last few days you've eaten around 6 o'clock, or say Monday to Friday you eat at, say, 6 o'clock, and then Saturdays you tend to eat later, maybe about 8. You can write that in then, but you don't have to write it in at the very beginning, because I'm sure everyone will miss things, and then you just end up having to rejig everything, and it's an absolute nightmare. Number 5 is to set goals. So this is a huge motivator for me, is setting both small and large goals. Without them I would be completely lost. Goal setting just really helps you keep on track. I would 100% recommend setting like short-term, mid-term and long-term goals, because if you just set short-term ones, which is what I always used to do, you kind of get to a point where like you achieve it and then like you completely drop off again, and then you do another one and then you drop off again. So really keep consistent with setting new short-term goals, keep your mid-term goals as well, and your long-term ones as well. A lot of this came from also Tyson Fury. A lot of you may know, like, he went through a really hard battle with depression, and he said like one of the main things for him that got him back to where he is now was just continuously like setting new goals, continuously pushing himself to be better. So goals, I think, for athletes are absolutely like, what's the word for it, like crucial. They are 100% crucial. Number 6, always carrying water. I think I've mentioned it before about carrying a water bottle around with you everywhere you go, but having water is so important. It prevents you from having drinks that aren't going to help you so much, like fizzy drinks and things like that. And if you can, keep it in a water bottle, you can help the environment out. And for performance as well, staying hydrated is so important. There's a few studies out there that show like the difference between being slightly dehydrated and being hydrated. It's a massive difference. Your brain focus, your muscles' ability to perform, it's a massive one. So make sure you stay hydrated. In the mornings, make sure you get a pint down you, and then throughout the day, make sure you're drinking. Try not to kind of like go the whole day without drinking and drink like a gallon. It's not very good for you. So make sure you're having water on you at all times, is what I'd recommend. Number 7 is visualization. So this wasn't something that I started doing until Conor McGregor actually started becoming like more of a public figure. So watching him in the older build-up, saying like everything to him felt familiar, he'd been there before, like he'd seen it all through visualization. It really made me look into it a bit more, and it's actually like such a great tool to use, especially if you're someone who suffers with like anxiety or nerves on a bigger scale. So it's kind of like meditation in the way that I do it. So I'll sit myself down and usually I'll set like a timer, but I try to make it a bit longer so that if I'm halfway through like visualizing something, I don't want my alarm going off. So I usually set at least like between 15 and 20 minutes. I don't do it every day. It's something that you can kind of push back to maybe like once a week, or you can even reserve it just for when you are feeling really anxious about a certain event in particular. So like I said, set yourself like 20 minutes or so, sit yourself down, and you just have to visualize whatever it is that you're concerned about. For me, like if it's a fight coming up, I'll just visualize absolutely everything. So from driving to the venue, getting changed, getting my gear on, taking in the people's faces, the smells, the sounds, everything. Really trying to put it all together in your head so that once you've been there, everything becomes a bit easier. It's like experience is the best teacher, I suppose. So if you can almost experience competing before competing, you can kind of say like, I've been here before, I've seen it already, I've done this. It's kind of a weird mindset to put yourself in, but 100% give it a go, see how you get on and let me know, because it's something I definitely want to look into more and really try and get into like the, I guess like science or psychology behind it. I think it's a great area that definitely needs to be looked into more within sports. Number 8 is to just get outdoors. Honestly, I think I read something the other day about this as well, actually. I can't remember. I'll see if I can find it and I'll link it below or on the screen somewhere if I can find it. But getting outdoors has such a positive influence on us, like as humans. It's just such a positive thing to be outdoors, taking in different sounds, different areas. Your brain actually finds it really, really beneficial. I think it's actually to do with like neuroplasticity. So you may see like fighters like Lomachenko do their like brain drills and things like that, like brain training and different puzzles and things. Being outdoors actually has the same effect, and it's probably like a lot cheaper, and you have to do like a lot less preparation for it. So literally get outdoors, go for a run, try go somewhere new, take a train to a new city, explore, just take in different surroundings and learn different things. It's like find a new area, walk around, get lost, and then like find your way again. It's really, really good for your brain. And I also feel like from a depression standpoint, if you're feeling low, being outdoors is such a benefit. It puts you on such a high being outdoors. So that's number 8, get outdoors. Honestly, it's probably one of the biggest things on this list that I can recommend. The benefits are like absolutely huge. So if you've been finding yourself trapped inside for a long time, get outside, go for a walk. Number 9 is recovery exercises. So this is, I feel like, something that a lot of athletes forget or think aren't as important, but honestly they are. Recovery exercises are so important for reintroducing new red blood cells into your muscles, reducing fatigue. They also help the build up of lactic acid, prevent that. For me, like a simple recovery session would be like a few rounds skipping, a few rounds shadow boxing, or maybe just like 10 minutes on the heavy bag followed by like a walk or a light jog. It's really going to help you. Add in some like dynamic stretches and some foam rolling. I 100% guarantee you will find a benefit. They're going to get you back performing at a high level in your next session, which is just as important. Number 10, one of the biggest things for me is stay tidy. It's one of those things that like I love, like a clean slate, everything clean, tidy, put away. At the moment my room's pretty messy, I won't lie. I've been recording, so that's what happens. But after this video, I'm going to clear everything, make it nice and tidy, clear my head again. A notebook, I always love a clean page to start on, things like that. So also like your appearance, I find that when you feel good about yourself, you feel happy. So having a clean appearance, feeling smart, tidy, and so on. Especially with like your room, it's where you sleep, wake up. If I have a cluttered room, my mind will also be cluttered. So having that tidy before I go to bed allows me to relax that a little bit more. So it's really like a mental thing for me. Like I really need things to be organised. And I don't know when the recording stops, so hopefully this is alright. But just having that clean slate for me and being able to like declutter my mind and my surroundings just really has like that hand-in-hand combination of just like feeling at ease, and it also helps you like refocus on things that are important to me rather than thinking about things that aren't. So staying tidy is a massive one for me. So there we have it, guys. That's my 10 healthy habits that I would recommend to boxers or athletes in the same way. Hopefully you could take something from this video and found it helpful. If you have any habits that you need to stick by, pop them down in the comments so everyone else can see them as well. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, it really helps me out, and subscribe if you want to see more, and I'll see you next time.